2023 was a very special year for Taylor Swift and her fans as she went on her iconic The Eras tour and became a billionaire with her music alone, the first to ever happen in history as far as I'm concerned. With that being said, as another year came along, I really want to know how the future of the music industry would look like in the next decade. Fortunately, there is a right tool to do that. Here is a chart that showed the total music sales from 1973 to 2022 from Visual Capitalist, a data-driven visual content page I found on Facebook, that breaks down both the total revenue of each category, from the crackle of vinyl to the seamless streams of today, and their revenue by year during this period. And as you can see, the landscape has undergone significant changes over the decades. One thing that immediately pops up in my mind, even without looking at the second graph, is the decline of physical music, the thing that dominates the entire industry since 1973, leaving the spotlight for the digital formats like paid streaming and ad-supported streaming. Even the 90s with its CD revolution and unprecedented prosperity for the music industry can't change the fact that the age of excess, of CD towers and disc changers, has reached their peak, never being able to compete with the convenience coming from millions of songs available at the touch of a button. But even when CD music revenue shows a clear sign of decline, I'm kinda surprised that vinyl music is still going strong despite nearing going extinct during the 90s and early 2000s. Out of $771 billion in revenue, CD consists of $367 billion, accounting for roughly 48%, or close to half of the pie. Taking up the second place is vinyl with $128 billion in revenue, and then cassette with $122 billion, both sharing a 17% and 16% piece of the pie respectively. Vinyl was a cultural phenomenon, a tangible connection between the artist and the listener that once filled living rooms and dance halls with the sounds of legends like Bowie, Queen, and the Beatles, whereas cassette offered music lovers a portable alternative to bulky record collections. Just these three alone carry up to 80% of the revenue, meaning a significant amount of the industry has always been about physical possession of music for half a century. Although that trend may soon come to an end as the digital music landscape becomes the norm due to their ease of access and affordability, I still think physical copies of music may continue to exist in some capacity, probably around 10 to 20% of the market, but have an upgrade in terms of quality for those curious collectors. I don't know what would that be, but it would be something great, considering how frustrating people are these days with the sheer number of subscription services and their inconsistent policy relating to their pricing model and their treatment with the creators. People like the feeling of ownership, which often means not paying twice for the same thing, and vinyl meets both of those demands perfectly.
Another one bites the dust. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that fear. The eye of the tiger. Little jeans, like my love. Ooh, she's just a girl who claims I'm never gonna dance again the way I danced with you.
Touch this. You can't touch this.
With all that being said, there are some surprises that need to be discussed in the lower end of the physical music category. 8-track is a great example. I totally have no idea what it even is. Turn out it was just a downgrade version of cassette. It got its peak during the 1970s and then immediately falling off when cassette began to become a thing, earning roughly $27 billion during that 10-year period alone, bigger than the amount earned from digital license and ad-supported streaming music, each with $16 billion and $11 billion respectively. Although admittedly, part of the reason is probably because these subscription services only collect their revenue recently, and the amount each subscriber has to pay is relatively small. It's a monthly fee rather than a per-song fee. MP3 is also another interesting case study. Similar to 8-track, they are just as short-lived and quickly becoming a background character as a new technology quickly comes after that and annihilates that market. I don't know much about 8-track, but I remember MP3 quite well. It gained popularity during the 2000s and early 2010s due to the widespread adoption of computers and Nokia cell phones in each household. But then the iPhone era came around and those things immediately fade into memory, earning a total of $36 billion in the process, and in the end, leaving the spot for those new digital formats to shine. The last surprise to me is the ringtone format, which manages to bring back up to $7 billion. There was even a time, 2007 to be exact, when their revenue hit $1.1 billion, accounting for 10% of that year's music revenues. From my own experience, it seems like ringtone shares the same fate as MP3. It rises with Nokia and falls with Nokia. Those who pay for this kind of service are usually the kinds that are not very good at using computer, so they didn't know that there is an easier, and even cheaper, way to get your favorite song than pick up your phone, which is to use piracy websites, and have to ask for help from those evil telecom companies, which I used to be a part of. But with all that being said, while it's kinda obvious that the era of physical music is fading away, it's still quite sad that we have to say goodbye to this era, leaving behind either vinyl music and live performance as the only choices for those who are interested to dissect the past or be part of a wider audience in real life, a personal experience, and a mass experience respectively. A phenomenon that seems to be the norm across the board, from the manga industry in Japan, with sales coming mainly from the physical books and the anime on TV, to the cinema industry in the US, with sales also coming from the DVD and the live screening at the beginning. This explains why Taylor Swift is so successful with her music career. After all, she has been quite hard-working ever since the beginning, and she also seems to be quite consistent with her job. From my own understanding, every year, Taylor always has something for her fans to look forward to, whether it was a new song, a new album, or an international tour like last year. This is quite contrary to a lot of singers I know, who either had a great period but then abandoned for a long period of time like Ariana Grande, or suddenly changed the course of her career like Rihanna, or even make and release her music based purely on her mood like Lana Del Rey. Obviously, Taylor Swift also has her music undergo many changes to adapt to the new social and technological conditions, mostly by becoming more commercialized to attract a large number of audience, but it's understandable and pretty exciting in many ways.
Bala tu cuerpo, alegría, Macarena, que tu cuerpo pa' dar la alegría y cosas buenas. Bala tu cuerpo, alegría.
Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. No, tell me what you want, what you really, really want. There's nothing. Loneliness is killing me. And I must confess, upside inside out.
Living la vida loca. Dream of Californication.
Right now, digital formats are the king and will still be king for a foreseeable future. The rise of streaming services in the 2010s has really caused a seismic shift, with platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube Music revolutionizing the way we consume music, offering vast libraries of songs at our fingertips for a monthly subscription fee or even for free with ads. They made up 89% of US music revenue in 2022, with paid and ad-supported streaming making up 78% of all revenue, surpassing even CDs and digital downloads combined, a testament to the power of technology to reshape an entire industry. And thanks to them, music has had a wider reach than ever before, with paid subscriptions rising from 46.9 million in 2018 to 92 million in 2022 in the US alone, adding roughly 15 million accounts per year during the 2018 to 2020 period, and every 2 years during the 2020 to 2022 period into the club. And with the current way these websites are doing their business, it's predicted that a lot more will be joining soon. But that also means musicians would have a tougher time than before, as the competition is clearly not cooling down but heating up. For every chart-topping hit, there will be countless artists struggling to make ends meet. Those who are already famous will become even more famous, making new players compete fiercely with each other for a small piece of the pie before thinking about taking a bigger piece. It's a reminder that while technology has democratized access to music, it's also raised important questions about fair compensation and artistic integrity. Of all America's top online music services, YouTube ranks first. According to another report from Visual Capitalist, roughly 61%, or 2/3 of US music listeners used YouTube at least once per month in 2022, far higher than Spotify and Amazon Music, which are both taking up the second spot with 35% of the market. This is not a very surprising result, considering how YouTube is the first player in the game, so they have a huge advantage. Also, it's a video-focused website with different kinds of content rather than a music-focused one like the other two, so most people wouldn't mind listening to a few songs on the same site that they are watching other content. And it's also technically free if you don't consider ads to be a nuisance. Another great example of how YouTube has evolved into a sustainable ecosystem over time. Aside from these three, there are also a lot of other sites providing the same services, but I have never heard of them before. As a gesture of kindness, I'm just gonna name them and their power level. At the third tier, we got Pandora and SiriusXM with 23% and 21% respectively. At the fourth tier, we got Apple Music, iHeartRadio, and SoundCloud with 19%, 15% and 10% respectively. Then at the bottom line, we got Odyssey with 6% and TuneIn, Tidal, Napster, and Deezer, all with 5%. It seems like people tend to listen from more than one source, either because they are interested in other services or they just want to separate music from other kinds of YouTube content for the sake of convenience during work or gym. Which is also something I can understand.
Let's go, real slow. In the sunshine, we shine together. Told you I'll be here forever. Said I cherish the bells ringing. Roman cavalry choirs to sing. Caught in a bad romance. Oh, you were. Come on, let your go.
As we move forward, we're already seeing emerging trends that could shape the future of music consumption. Virtual reality concerts, for example, offer immersive experiences that could change the way we attend live events. And with the rise of artificial intelligence, we may see more personalized music recommendations tailored to each listener's tastes. Each format has left its mark on the music industry, shaping not only how we consume music but also how its artists and record labels make their money. But it's clear from this whirlwind tour that the music industry will continue to evolve in response to technological advancements and shifting consumer preferences. Who knows what the next 50 years will bring? Will vinyl continue its unlikely resurgence? Or will streaming reign supreme for decades to come? But one thing's certain for sure, the beat goes on. So let's stay tuned and see where the rhythm takes us next.
Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Don't believe me, just watch. Go hello from the other side. I told you that I'll never